So boom, COVID hits. Mind you, my career background was in healthcare and mental health or whatever. And at the time I was working in a psychiatric institute, and when COVID hit, like, first of all, we didn't have supplies, no sandy wipes, no masks, no nothing. Our main 90% of our population that came into the psych ward was homeless people who didn't give a fuck about their hygiene or nothing. And I wasn't about to risk it all and be sick as shit because of these motherfuckers. And then they wasn't providing us with PPE quick enough for me. And so, like, I had to take a fucking stand. And then, they was forcing the jab or no work thing. And one thing about it, two things for sure. Y'all was not about to put no vaccination inside me. And so I had to make a decision. And so I end up, like, quitting my fucking job, y'all. And back then, I was a person that prided themselves on always having a bag. And I put a lot of who I was and my value about having money, okay? And so it was a humbling experience to go through and be back home where people, know that I came from LA and think I'm so Hollywood and shit. And low key, I was just like broke as shit and like ain't, staying at my mother's house and trying to stay out the motherfucking way. And me being the lover girl that I am, I still was dating or whatever. And I wasn't triggering. Bitches was tricking off on me. And if they wanted to, take me out to eat and, buy me things, I was going to take it. And, so I was cool and whatever. So I didn't really need for nothing. So I was able to bypass COVID with a little breeze and shit or whatever. My sister ended up getting her place or whatever. So she wanted me to come and stay with her. And it was my older sister, which was an awesome experience because my older sister never lived in a household with us. And like I've stayed with at my great grandmother's house a few times where she was raised, and we like bonded or whatever. We had a relationship, but this was our first time being like sisters and like living together. So that was a cool experience until it wasn't. But I think on both ends shit got a little crazy. I definitely did get a little too comfortable, and I should have realized boundaries, but she didn't speak up on boundaries. But I should have still learned personal boundaries. Like, I was having my bitches come over to her house and cool it and shit. She wasn't saying nothing because we was all having a good time. But now looking back, I could see how like that was overstepping boundaries and shit. And like, but she should have said something like, I don't know what was cool and what wasn't cool, but I should have just still, regarded the situation and did a little things better on my end, for sure. For sure. But I think I was a light in her life, and like we had some fucking fun times and shit, right? Alright, so like I said, it was still during COVID. At the time I was, dating, and like the women I was dating, we was, going outside. I started going outside, and somehow, somewhere, your girl ended up being a fucking party promoter, hostess slash PR person for this chick, right? Part 4 coming up, y'all. I mean, part 5, because it's part 4.